Hey guys, it's Emily from Bold and Badass Fitness, and I am coming at you from our new space for the very first time. That's why you see me shooting against a blue wall instead of a yellow wall, because I'm over at the new gym. I wanted to talk to you today about a conversation I was having yesterday when I was at my jiu-jitsu gym, and we were talking about the 5 levels, the 5 belts in jiu-jitsu, and those are white, blue, purple, brown, and black, and that's in order of ascending hierarchy as it gets more difficult. We're going to talk about what the different belt levels mean, and for that particular sport there are specific meanings about what kind of movements you might know and how they string together and yada yada. But one of the distinctions I was told early on that I think is an even better distinction for what it means to master the sport of jiu-jitsu or to master anything, the 5 levels break down like this. And I'll type this up for you guys and put it in the comments, but here's how I've always heard it put. You start out with unconscious incompetence. You move to conscious incompetence, then you move to conscious competence, unconscious competence, and then mastery. Which means that as a white belt, you don't know what you don't know. You just don't know anything. And then you suddenly know what you don't know, you start to know what you know, and then eventually as you go through unconscious competence and mastery, you know things, but you no longer have to think about them to do them well. And I think that's the really big difference, is not just that like a brown belt or a black belt knows more than a white belt, but that those higher levels know more without having to think about using it, right? So they can use what they know effortlessly. And I was thinking about this. This is kind of cool because this really applies to almost every physical discipline. And this is one of those often not talked about benefits to physical training in general, right? Which is getting to the point that you can do things well without having to labor over what you're doing. And I think in a more of a fitness sense than in a jiu-jitsu sense, how that might play out is that learning good movement patterns, learning how to use your core to brace when you pick up something heavy, doesn't just mean that every object you go to pick up in life, if you're at work and you have to like move a filing cabinet, that doesn't mean that you're deadlifting everything you pick up or that you're squatting everything you have to move, but rather that you have the natural habits of someone who can protect their body, right? Who knows how to use their core to protect their back, who knows how to use their legs instead of their back to bend, etc. And I think that those kind of patterns, some other things might be, if you're doing kind of these dynamic mobility drills, stuff like that, if you have these good patterns of movement, not only are you safe, but you're way more efficient, right? You use less energy to do the same things. And that's another one of those attributes that you see a lot in the martial arts. Something I've been trying to practice. I'm a purple belt, so I'm in the middle of that hierarchy, and it's taken me about 10 years to get there. One of the things that I try to practice when I'm rolling with a lower belt is I try to think about getting, not getting my breathing heavy at the end of the round, right? So I want to use as little effort as possible to just match that person. And I make a point not to beat up white belts in general, but also not to use a lot of energy even in just kind of playing the game with them. And I think that that kind of a strategy really starts to ingrain that concept in you as you go. So I wanted to throw that out there for you guys, that kind of one of the icing on the cake attributes of fitness might be just having good overall movement patterns. I wonder if any of you can come up with some other cool examples, as I think there are a lot of sports that come with those benefits that might be really interesting to incorporate. But that's all I've got for you today, something to think about while we're in the new space. And then I'll also throw out there that this weekend is the open house, the grand opening party. We are already holding sessions here. We held sessions here earlier today, but we're having a big community party to invite all of you in to see the space, find out what the blue wall is all about, all that jazz. So I hope many of you can make it and that you enjoyed this video. As always, please leave me a comment if there's something in particular you want to see. I would also be really curious to know if you guys like hearing about jiu-jitsu, if you want to hear more about the philosophy of combat sports, as I think that stuff is really interesting and would love to touch on it more, even though it's not the bulk of what I talk about. So let me know what you think about that. As always, check back here for more updates. I post these on Facebook, I post them on YouTube. You can find out more information on my website. Hope you guys are having a great day.